What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Acts of Creation. And in this week's lesson, we're going to sit down and dig through tools descending. Now, we are working our way through the album. We've hit Fear Inoculum, we've hit Pneuma, we've hit Invincible. Now we're doing descending, all right? Down in the description below, you can find the links to the tabs if you want to follow along. Click on that subscribe button because we're going to hit Culling Voices and Tempest as we move forward through the album, all right? So we are in a drop D tuning as always, and let's jump right in, okay? We have a bass intro of the song, and then the guitar kicks in with this riff. Volume. Okay, that's our opening riff, okay? So we're on our D string and our G string, which is our 3 and 4, 10 on the D, 7 of the G, and we're cross-stringing it. Move that same idea down a string, and you have that movement, 10, 8, 10 is the A string movement. So it's 10, 7, 8, 7, 10, open D. So you have right now we have this little ascending section, and that's all it is power chord on 5th fret of your D. 5, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so it's 5 and 7, 7 and 7, 8 and 7. And then you have basically the end of the verse riff with a little more movement. Just a couple extra picks. Instead of make sense? And then you're back into it. Repeats. Okay, back into the ascending climb. And now we get the main riff of the song, and that's this. Awesome riff, really cool riff. So we're gonna start out basically outlining a D minor sound, right? So it's low D, up to 3 on the D string. And you're gonna pull off that note, and then low string open, D string open. Okay? And then here, 2-0 on the D, 3-2. 3 on the A, 2 of the D. Like that. Okay? Now, as the riff repeats on itself, there is a ghost D note. That one. And it's after this fill, right? Now you can pick it. Right before that 3rd fret on your D string. But I like to pull off. So when I do that cross string, I hold my finger down and flick it off to play the open D. I don't know if Jones is playing it that way, but it sounds good. Right there, all right? You guys can play it like that, or you can pick it. So then you have this riff right here. It changes to 11/8. We've kind of been in 7 this whole time. I know we haven't talked about that, but we have this. Right? So that is our riff. So it's open, and then 3 open. So low D, and then 3 on the low string. 3 on the O, 3-0 on the D, and then 5, kind of playing That's kind of what we're doing, right? So the bass is moving 0, 3, 5, and then we're gonna pull off 3, 0, essentially the whole time. And then you get that delicious ninth. 5 on the D, 3 on the A. Oh, I'm sorry. Right, and then you have this little chug section here. You know, originally I thought it was just doing the 3-2 pattern, that you hear later on in the song, but it almost sounds like there's some extra ghost notes where he's kind of doing like this 1-4, 1-4 pattern before that. Right? That's what it kind of sounds like. You guys play along with that and let me know, okay? So all of that is going to kind of repeat, and then we're going to move on as we go through the song, right? So that chug pattern is our first break, right? And then all of what we just did repeats, and then on the second repeat, as we go through it, it's basically you just hold that a chord, and then you have this. The introduction of this chug pattern. Right? And you'll hear that throughout the rest of the song on the breaks and on the outro. And then that's gonna kind of lead us up into this bass section, and you have the and then you have the heavy reintroduction. All right, so let's just keep going. Let's just not stop. I'll stop talking about it. So coming out of this little bass break, we have this little melody. Right? And 12 on the A, 15 open on the low D. And then go back, and your long note is there on the 12th fret of your A. All right, so now we kind of get the heavy version of this main riff idea. And it's gonna come with some very proggy variation section, right? A lot of slight variations going on. So you have the main idea wide open, and the only difference between this one and then the previous one, you're just kind of coming down. Right there is the main difference, 2-0, 3-0, rather than cross-stringing it like earlier. So it's 0, 3. Same thing, pull that off, play the octave. And there you go. So that's the same thing as before, and then the fill, it's still the same, right? So you do all of that twice. Okay? And if you noticed on that second time, right, because it's 3 times, you do a little, put the little trill in there. And you know, if you listen carefully, he might do that one other place in the song, maybe, but if you hear it, go for it, all right? So anyway, so you do that twice in a row, and now your variations are gonna start kicking in. So the first variation is we go through that opening riff, and then we're gonna change the bass note, okay, to the 3rd fret, and then we're also gonna chop the longer fill of it off, okay? So you have this. Okay, that's that first variation that we just did. All right, so the first half of it's the same twice. Same riff, but now instead of low D, it's the F. The 3rd fret. Little tricky to kind of play in there. And then your fill is 8 and 3. 5, 3, 0. So it's 8, 5, 0, 3, 5, 0. I'm sorry, 8, 5, 0, 5, 3, 0. Cool? Then we're gonna start that again. Everything's the same except the fill. Now we're gonna elongate, lengthen the fill again, right? We shortened it and now we're gonna make it long again. Back to that riff, okay? So the fill there is 5, 5, 3, 0, back to the 5, back to the open D. And then 3, 0, 5, 3. Nothing new there. That's the same riff as before. The only thing that we're gonna do is at the end of it, right? We're gonna slide up to 8 and 10. Right into that, and now, vocals are done, and it's guitar solo jam for the next 5 minutes. Yes! Coming out of that, we right into this chug section. Right, I like to slam a percussive muted note. Kind of helps me play along with the drums. So that's that chug section, and that's gonna lead us into our first little solo section here. And Jones has a slide for this small moment of the solo. I'm not gonna pop a slide on right now, we don't need to do it, but he does play this section with a slide, okay? So we're gonna be on our A and our D string, and we're gonna slide up into 12th position. 8, 5. And that is that little section right there. That's the slide section, okay? So it's 12, 8, 5. You're gonna slide back up to 12, slide up to the 15, and then down to back to 8. 15, 12, 10, 8, and then up to 15. I'm sorry, 17. Okay, and then you're gonna throw the slide off and you get right into this melody up in 17th position. Okay, so we're gonna outline again, just a simple power chord shape here. So 17, 19, same string, 17, 19. And then here's your fill. 17, pull off to open G, and then slide up on the 15, the 17 on the A string to start over again. So it's okay, so now that idea is gonna basically repeat, but the fill is gonna be different all the time. So you have the first ending, the second ending, the first ending, and then a third ending. So the first one, it's 17 on the G string. The second time, it's 17 on the D string. The third time, it's back to the first one on the G string. And then the fourth time, it's like that on the D string. 17, 0, 15, 0, and then that starts it over again. So let's give that a quick listen. like that, okay? So then we're gonna repeat all that. You have the first two again, and then you're gonna have a third altered ending, kind of segues out of it. And that sounds like this. Right? So you basically hang there, grab that half step above, and then come down the 12th position. 10, 12, 10, 12, 13. Now here you're gonna come up to a harmonized little guitar melody idea going on, all right? So I'm not gonna break down each individual one separately. I just wanna kinda play it how you can probably get away with doing it live by yourself without harmonized tracks, all right? So I like to do 14, 12, 14, 12 on the G string. And then basically do the same thing, but add a harmony to it. So it's 15, 14, and 12, and 14. So it's... Right, so it's 14, 12, 14, 15, 14. And then pause, and then do a little hammer, and then kind of like that, where the melody's on the D string, 15, 14, 12. But I'm kind of playing the two strings, the D and the G string with it, to get the... And then you have a harmonized that. Essentially, very similar idea. So you kind of have this. Repeat. Then you have that. Again, another harmonized line, but I'm just playing it together. Same strings, 3 and 4, 10, 12, 13, 12. Like that. And then you have this cool riff. Right, and then you get into that whole outro section as we keep moving on through the song, all right? But that's a cool riff. I like that a lot. It's on your A and your D string. So it's 12, 12, 15, 12, 16, little pull off right there. Pull off in the open note. Pull it off and grab 10 on the A. Power chord. And then 10, 12, 10, 0, 10, 0. Right? Power chords, 8, 10, 5, 3, 0. So after that break, we have a nice long break where we have Jones is kind of swelling, using his volume knob or volume pedal, and he's just swelling through some chords as we're gonna move into what feels like very Grunge inspired, right? And those chords are 3, 8, 5, and open, okay? And you're gonna swell through those a bunch. And again, I would play, kind of hammer on through these and just pull off. I wouldn't really attack anything. You can use your right hand to swell, or use that in conjunction with some other expression pedals if you got that going on. All right, so that's what's going on here. So now we're gonna move into this very Grunge inspired section, right? It kind of feels like we get this O and then 1 fret. And then you have a little chug where it's 3 and 2. Right? So those are the two parts you go back and forth with. It's kind of like 4, 4, 4, 4, roughly speaking. And then you're going to step up into the... Right? The Instagram like that he posted forever ago, right, was always part of descending. And we're going to be up here in 12th position, and you're going to basically be playing outlining this power chord on 12, okay? So with your ring finger, it's... That's our first half, right? That would be the second half. So it's 14, 15, 12, 15. And then you're going to start doubling up on that 12th fret. And then, but all of those notes are double pick, right? So it's 15 on the A, jump up to 12 on the D, which is just a power chord. Just staying in position. Jumping up and playing an octave off of the B flat or the 13, so it's 13, 15. Back to 13, and then 15, 12, which is just all part of that B flat major chord, right? Which will come into play later. So he's got some variation there. Coming out of there. Right, little fun little segue to get out of that. The first one he does, he slides from 17 down to 14. Right? In the lick, and then at the end of it, you hang on the 12. That kind of movement, 10, 12, 10, 12, slide down the 9. Little triplet, oh, 10, 12. Like that. Cross string, 10, 12, 10, 12. And this is a really cool riff, and I'll tell you why I like it, but as we play through it. So, but it's this. Right? Pretty straightforward. It's all in the D string. It's O, 3, O, O, and then it's 10, O, 12, O, and those are all pull-offs, by the way. Right? And then the second time you play it, you remove one of the open Ds and you add it on the end of the phrase as another 10 open. So every other time, it's 10, 12, 10. So it's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Cool? Hopefully that makes sense. And coming out of that, right, we have that riff, so it's O, 15, O, and then 15, 17, 15, 17, 15, open. Like so, and I would put a nice wobble on that, or a nice vibrato, which leads us into the last leg of the solo. Right into that last outro, chug section, all right? So that's the solo. Let's look at that little last leg. So what are we doing, right? We're gonna stay on that D string coming out of that section, right? 10, 12, half step bend. Little grace note pull off. And then referencing the verse riff. Right? Cross string on the 5th and 4th string, 10 and 7. Power chord, 8, 10. And then little hammer on pull, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3. I like to stay on the D string. You don't have to. Right? You can cross string there. I just like the, so using that, okay? Leading into the second section, 10, 12, cross string. 10, 12, 10, 12. Double hammer on pull off there on the 3rd string and 4th string. 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10. Staying on that G string. Another half step bend. Again, you can play that here if you wanted to. Right? And you're kind of just noodling your way down the scale, right? We're here on 5, 2, open, 2, 5. Gonna play with that theme. Right, slide your way back up to 12 on the G string and bend. Whole step. Ten or 12, hammer on pull, power chord on the low string, down 8, and then slide up to 15 on the A string and the D string. And then basically power chords here. Jones seems to have some wah and volume effects going on here as you play strum through these chords, but it's really power chord on 12, 15, and then 8, 3, chug, 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 right on that big outward chug that they do, right? And you keep going through there, you hold the open note. What? Where do those chords come from, right? You get this 09, which is a D major chord, which resolves to our B flat chord, all right? So now, let's talk about this as we talked about way in the beginning of this here that I hinted at. We have some fun chord borrowing ideas coming on here that get us out of D Phrygian for the first time in a decade. So this is cool. So where does this come from, right? Obviously we have this open D and F sharp, resolving to this B flat power chord, right? So we're in D Phrygian, okay? Okay, that half step above gives it away. It's D Phrygian. D Phrygian is the 3rd mode of the major scale. Now, caution here, we're gonna geek out a little bit on music theory because we don't get to do it too often here as we explore the tool stuff. So, D Phrygian is the 3rd mode of the major scale, which would be B flat major. Okay? With me so far? Now, every major key has a minor key that is the same thing. And in this case, that would be G minor. Okay? So, when you're in a minor key, classical harmony would raise the 7th, creating a very strong leading tone, giving you harmonic minor. Well, that 7th, that raised 7th is F sharp. So, you're basically, this is implying that D7 to the D7 to the G minor, but we're resolving to the parent key of B flat major. Cool stuff right there. Anyway, There it is, Tools Descending. It's a monster track, lots of guitar playing going on. I hope you had a lot of fun. Down in the description below, you can find the links for the tabs and other ways to support the channel. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't, because we will be doing the last 2 songs on this album, Culling Voices and Tempest. Looking forward to it, and as always, let me know what you come up with. So until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.